8 square miles of volcanic rock, 36 days of hell, 28,000 American casualties for an island smaller than Manhattan. What made Iwo Jima so deadly? February 19th, 1945. As American landing crafts approached the black beaches of Iwo Jima, they had no idea they were sailing toward one of the most brutal battles in Pacific theater history. By the time the guns fell silent, this tiny island would consume more American lives per square mile than any other battle in World War II. Today, we're diving deep into the strategic nightmare that turned 8 square miles into a graveyard, examining why American commanders thought this sulfur island was worth such a devastating cost, and how Japanese defenders transformed solid rock into an impenetrable fortress that would claim a Marine casualty every 2 minutes for over a month. The strategic imperative. By early 1945, American B-29 superfortresses were pounding Japanese cities from bases in the Mariana Islands. The 1,500-mile journey from Saipan to Tokyo was pushing these bombers to their absolute limit. Damaged aircraft, limping home from bombing runs, had nowhere to land, and fighter escorts couldn't make the full journey to protect the massive bombers over Japan. Iwo Jima sat perfectly positioned, 660 miles from Tokyo, close enough to serve as an emergency airfield for crippled bombers and a staging point for P-51 Mustang fighters. American strategists calculated that capturing this sulfur island would save more American lives in the long run by providing a crucial waystation for the strategic bombing campaign against Japan's home islands. But Iwo Jima held another, more ominous significance. It was Japanese home territory, the first piece of the Japanese homeland that Americans would attempt to seize. The psychological impact on both sides would be immense. Tadamichi Kuribayashi's fortress. What American planners didn't fully comprehend was that they were about to assault 1-0. Kuribayashi understood that traditional Japanese banzai charges were suicide against American firepower. Instead, he pioneered a revolutionary defensive strategy. Defense in depth through underground fortification. His 21,000 defenders excavated over 11 miles of tunnels, connecting hundreds of reinforced bunkers, pillboxes, and underground chambers. These weren't simple caves. Japanese engineers blasted multi-level complexes deep into Mount Suribachi and the island's rocky plateau. Tunnel entrances were camouflaged and positioned to create deadly crossfires. Many positions were designed to be invisible until the moment they opened fire, with some bunkers featuring retractable steel doors that could seal shut after firing. The island's geography amplified this defensive nightmare. Iwo Jima was essentially a fortress built on a volcano. The soft volcanic ash beaches would bog down vehicles, while the rocky interior provided perfect material for excavating defensive positions. Operation Detachment begins. American intelligence estimated the battle would last 5 days. They were off by more than a month. At 9 a.m. on February 19th, 1945, the first wave of Marines hit the beaches. Initially, the landing seemed almost too easy. As Marines waded through the black volcanic sand, Japanese positions remained eerily silent. This wasn't Japanese weakness. It was Kuribayashi's trap. The Japanese commander had ordered his men to hold fire until American forces moved inland, away from the protective guns of the naval fleet offshore. Only when thousands of Marines had advanced beyond the beaches did the island erupt in coordinated violence. Machine gun fire raked the exposed Americans from concealed positions. Mortar rounds fell with deadly precision, pre-registered on every potential landing zone. Artillery shells screamed down from positions that seemed impossible to locate. much less destroy. Yard by yard, through hell. What followed was a grinding war of inches. American forces had to develop entirely new tactical approaches to deal with Kuribayashi's defensive network. Flamethrowers became essential tools, with teams methodically working through tunnel systems to clear Japanese positions. Combat engineers used explosives to seal cave mouths, only to discover that many positions had multiple exits connected through the tunnel network. The battle fragmented into hundreds of individual firefights as small Marine units encountered hidden positions. Japanese defenders would emerge from concealed tunnel entrances, fire from close range, then disappear back underground before American forces could respond. Some positions required multiple assaults over several days before they could be neutralized. Mount Suribachi became the symbol of this brutal fighting. The 550-foot volcanic cone bristled with defensive positions, each one requiring individual assault. The final stand. By mid-March, organized Japanese resistance was collapsing, but Kuribayashi's final gambit would prove the most costly of all. Rather than the traditional banzai charge, the Japanese commander organized a series of coordinated night attacks using his remaining forces. These weren't desperate suicide charges, but carefully planned assaults designed to inflict maximum casualties. Japanese infiltration teams used the tunnel network to emerge behind American lines, creating chaos and forcing Marines to fight battles on multiple fronts simultaneously. The psychological toll was enormous. Marines never knew when or where the next attack would come. Some positions changed hands multiple times in a single night. The constant threat of underground attack created a paranoia that compounded the physical exhaustion of weeks of combat. Kuribayashi himself led one final assault on March 26th, dying with his remaining troops in a last desperate attempt to push American forces. When the guns finally fell silent on March 26, 1945, the statistics were staggering. Of the 21,000 Japanese defenders, fewer than 300 survived as prisoners. American forces suffered 28,000 casualties, including 6,800 killed in action, a casualty rate of nearly 40%. The strategic objectives were achieved. Iwo Jima became a crucial waystation for bombing missions against Japan, with over 2,400 B-29s making emergency landings on the island's airfields. These emergency landings potentially saved over 24,000 American airmen's lives, justifying the battle's strategic cost. But Iwo Jima's true significance extended beyond tactical considerations. The battle demonstrated the fanatical resistance American forces could expect when invading the Japanese home islands. The casualty projections for Operation Downfall, the planned invasion of Japan, were astronomical, contributing to President Truman's decision to use atomic weapons instead of pursuing a conventional invasion. The Pacific War's bloodiest battles were still ahead. Click here to discover how Operation Downfall would have cost over 1 million American lives and why 2 atomic bombs ended